Here it is, folks, my top 50 favorite movies. Just to restate, these aren't what I think that are the best movies ever made, just my favorites. And this is a temporary list, because I have many more movies I yet want to see. So let's get to it. Number 50, Deathtrap. In this mystery black comedy inspired by a play, Michael Caine plays a playwright who has recently released several flops to Broadway. When he meets a young writer played by Christopher Reeve who has written the perfect play, Caine murders him and plots with his wife, played by Diane Cannon, to steal the play. An intricate mystery laced with death and laughs, it unfolds gradually and will leave the viewer stunned at least once. I don't want to spoil anything, but just believe me when I say it's memorable and definitely worth a watch. Number 49, Arthur. Dudley Moore plays Arthur Bach, a multi-millionaire womanizer who is scheduled to marry a woman he does not love, at the risk of being cut off from the family wealth. But soon he meets an aspiring actress, played by Liza Minnelli, and can't help falling in love with her. This is one of those feel-good movies. Everything from Moore's ridiculous laugh to Christopher Cross's main theme song, everything will pick your spirits up. And John Gielgud's performance as Arthur's butler, Hobson, is sure to leave you in stitches. There was a remake, but I haven't seen it, and frankly, I don't want to. This movie's just too good. Leave it the way it is. Number 48, Vertigo. Said to be one of Hitchcock's finest, this psychological thriller stars Jimmy Stewart as Scotty, a private investigator hired to follow a mentally tormented, suicidal beauty, played by Kim Novak. But Scotty's crippling fear of heights, which costs the life of a policeman, may be an obstacle he needs to overcome if he wants to save the love he may be feeling for this lady. Like Deathtrap, this is a very intricate movie, and I'm not going to say much to spoil it, but let's just say it is a classic Hitchcock, leaving every last twist until it's needed, and everyone who's seen it can't forget that dream sequence. The ending is a bit rushed, but it can be overlooked due to the fantastic cinematography, music, and writing. Vertigo, a classic. Number 47, Midnight Run. Robert De Niro is a smart-mouthed bounty hunter sent on a midnight run to pick up the Duke, played by Charles Grodin, who has swindled millions from a gang leader, played by Dennis Farina. However, things seem to go from bad to worse when the Duke cons De Niro and a rival bounty hunter played by John Ashton comes after the Duke as well, and suddenly this midnight run goes cross-country. This is a movie that you can't help but laugh at how things go so wrong, and the ridiculous manner De Niro and Grodin battle with each other. Add this with some slick film work and Danny Elfman's score, and you've got a wild ride symbolic of the 80s. Number 46, The Towering Inferno. Based off of 2 novels, this award-winning epic centers around the opening of the world's tallest building, 138 floors towering over San Francisco. But when faulty electrical wiring starts a fire on the 81st floor, the small burn turns into a high-rise blaze, in which the subplots are almost as numerous as the floors. This movie was a staple of 1970s pop culture and the disaster epic genre, injected with a star-studded cast, including Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire, O.J. Simpson, and Robert Wagner, and you've got a nail-biting, high-stakes piece of cinematic history that inspired buildings and fire departments to take more precautions. Number 45, Holiday Inn. Long before the hotel line of the same name was around, this Irving Berlin flick stars Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire as performers. But when Astaire runs off with Crosby's gal, Crosby goes to open an inn that runs rocking performances only on holidays. Soon Crosby crosses paths with a beautiful young talent played by Marjorie Reynolds, and Crosby and Astaire's rivalry sparks up again. This film is little known, but is a classic piece of the golden age of musical movies. It is also responsible for being the first film to use the song White Christmas, ironically not White Christmas being the first. Overall, a wonderful, upbeat film with catchy tunes and slick dance numbers. I watch it every holiday season. If you watch it, you'll get hooked too. Number 44, Ocean's 11. No, not the original Rat Pack classic, but the 2001 heist film which leads George Clooney as Danny Ocean. Ocean has been recently released from prison, and with the help of Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and others, plans to rob one of the highest-paid casinos in Vegas. The plot is simple yet complex. You need to pay attention to every new name and step of the plan to be enveloped in Ocean's plan. With sleek cinematography and clever writing, you get a sleek adventure comedy that has since become a phenomenon, spawning 2 sequels. Number 43, Get Smart. Steve Carell plays Max Smart, an operative at the Control Agency who has recently become Agent 86. With the help of Agent 99, played by the smoking hot Anne Hathaway, his first mission is to take on Chaos, who has a new plan of threatening the world. Growing up with watching the classic TV show on TV Land, I realized I really enjoyed the quirky nature of this spy-fi comedy. It's comedic and never dull, and has its share of great action sequences. Well done. Number 42, Little Shop of Horrors. Based on the Broadway musical inspired by a super low-budget 1960s sci-fi film, this movie musical stars the nerdy Rick Moranis as Seymour Krelborn, a mope who works at a flower shop who comes across a peculiar plant he calls Audrey 2. But soon he finds out the bizarre nature of this plant. It feeds on blood, and once it grows big enough, it talks, and it says it wants more. Loaded with cameos and goofy performances, this bizarre little musical also becomes a romantic comedy laced with sci-fi horror. Ellen Greene plays Audrey, Seymour's crush whom he names the plant after, and Steve Martin plays Orin Scrizella, DDS, Audrey's abusive boyfriend. Filled with memorable and lovable show tunes, Little Shop of Horrors is sure to please. Number 41, Chinatown. Roman Polanski's neo-noir mystery classic stars Jack Nicholson as J.J. Gittes, a private investigator paid to investigate a husband's possible affair. But when the husband turns up dead, more secrets unravel about the wife, the family, and the shortage of water in a drought-ridden 1937 San Fran. This marked the breakthrough of Nicholson's career, and rightfully so. You can't help but love the cool as ice J.J. Gittes, who unknowingly gets roped into something really big and bad. Once again, I don't want to spoil anything, because the further you get, the more intricate it gets, and you will be hooked. Well filmed, superbly written, and fitted with music that strolls along with it. Well, that's the end of part 1. Tune in for part 2, because we've got 40 more movies to count down.